They texted you constantly, called you their person, their soulmate, made future plans after 2 weeks, remembered the small things you mentioned once in passing, your favorite movie, the name of your childhood dog, the thing you said about your mother that one time. It felt like, finally, like the thing you'd been waiting for without knowing you were waiting. And then it changed. What you experienced was not love. It was a tactic. It has a name. And once you understand exactly how it works, you will never confuse it for the real thing again. Love bombing is the deliberate use of excessive attention, affection, and validation in the early stages of a relationship to create rapid emotional dependency. The term was first used by researchers studying cults in the 1970s. Cult leaders would overwhelm new recruits with belonging and warmth and specialness until they felt completely committed, before any demands were made. Narcissists use the exact same mechanism in romantic relationships. And here's the key thing to understand about it. Love bombing is not about how the bomber feels. It is about what they are trying to create in you. A dependency so fast and so deep that by the time the mask slips, leaving feels unthinkable. When we receive intense, positive attention from someone we're attracted to, our brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin simultaneously. This neurochemical combination creates a state that feels indistinguishable from falling in love, because biologically, it is the same process. The difference is this. In a healthy relationship, this intensity builds slowly as genuine trust develops over time. In love bombing, it's manufactured and compressed into days or weeks. By the time the intensity begins to drop, you've already bonded. Your brain has assigned this person the role of primary source of safety and pleasure. Pulling away from that, even when you intellectually know something is wrong, feels like withdrawal from a substance. Because neurochemically, it is. How do you recognize it while it's happening? Here are 4 specific signs. Sign 1. The pace feels too fast, and they resist slowing it down. Love bombing has an urgency. They want commitment quickly. They become hurt or uncomfortable when you express any caution about moving fast. Don't you feel what we have? I've never met anyone like you. I just know you're different. Healthy people respect your pace. Love bombers create pressure around it. Sign 2. The attention has a performing quality to it. Once you know what to look for, love bombing often has a slightly rehearsed feel. Grand gestures, perfectly calibrated compliments. The relationship being performed rather than lived. Genuine connection grows from shared ordinary moments over time. Love bombing front-loads intensity to bypass that process entirely. Sign 3. Subtle messages appear about what happens if you don't match their investment. I've never opened up to anyone like this before. You're the only person who understands me. These phrases sound loving, but they carry implicit weight. If you pull away, you will be responsible for their pain. This is how love bombing transitions into control. Gradually, the affection becomes conditional on your continued compliance. Sign 4. Your own pace and needs become invisible. In healthy early relationships, both people express what they need, and both people respect the other's timeline. In love bombing, your timeline is simply overridden, with so much warmth and enthusiasm that it seems almost ungrateful to object. You get swept along. And you may not notice how little of your actual preferences were honored until much later. At some point, weeks, months, sometimes longer, the love bombing ends, often abruptly, without obvious reason. The texts slow, the warmth cools. The idealization that made you feel like the center of everything begins to give way to criticism, comparison, withdrawal. This is called the devaluation phase. And if you don't understand the love bombing that preceded it, the devaluation is profoundly disorienting. Because you're not just losing a person, you're losing the version of yourself that existed in the mirror of their adoration. You'll work to get back to the beginning, to be enough again, to find the combination that restores the fairy tale. You won't find it. The fairy tale was never real. It was a recruitment phase. If you're in something right now that started with that kind of overwhelming intensity, I'm not saying to run immediately. I'm saying pay attention to pace. Notice whose needs are being centered. Trust what feels too fast, rather than overriding that instinct with excitement. Real love is not in a hurry. Real love is not uncomfortable with your caution. Real love is built in ordinary moments, over real time, not manufactured in a month of grand gestures. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. The next video covers trauma bonding, why it's so hard to leave even when you can see exactly what's happening.